Good morning. I have been reading newspapers because I like it. Yeah. First, it's Swedish news covering the Joe Biden campaign. No, actually, first I want to tell you about this. It's from New York Times. When an 80-year-old man at a bar near Buffalo, New York, noticed a fellow customer was not wearing a face mask, the old man confronted the customer and said, "You have to wear a face mask." The customer, being told to wear a face mask, responded by swiftly pushing the old man to the ground. And 5 days later, the old man was dead. And there's another example in the same article from this brilliant newspaper, New York Times, from Michigan. A security guard at a Family Dollar store was telling a customer that their daughter needed to wear a face mask inside the store. And it was shot dead. Yeah. It proves my point from yesterday's video. You can't tell people how to live their lives. Some will get very upset and angry. Yeah, I think it's sort of funny. All right, so here's the Swedish news talking about the Joe Biden campaign. Maybe we are too tough on these papers. You know, they are experiencing a slow death. Yeah. And they keep supporting the left. Yes. So they try to make this Joe Biden campaign into a positive thing. It's a big article in this newspaper, Aftonbladet, which is a left-wing paper. So here's the headline. Joe Biden visited the important key state of Pennsylvania and delivered a speech to try to unite the nation. Right. So there he was met by young college supporters who longed to change the state in Biden's favor when they now have the chance to vote in the presidential election for the very first time. You know, there are pictures, and the speech, the Joe Biden speech, is on a video. And these pictures, they show very, very few people. But still they try to make this into a positive thing. Yeah. And of course people can compare this to the Trump rallies with tens of thousands of people. So, yeah, it's not easy for these old newspapers. So here we go. Joe Biden arrived at both cheers and protests in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, a symbolically important place for the United States, which is considered a historic turning point in the American Civil War. So it was no coincidence that he chose this place to talk about how to unite the nation in times of deep polarization. Well, the fantastic thing about the quotes from these young people supporting him. So I will tell you about this. So there are university students. They were there to support the former vice president. And one of them says, in the big cities of Pennsylvania, there are a lot of students who vote for the Democrats. But here in the countryside, there are some Trump supporters, says Cynthia. Yeah. And then there's another one, also a female, Madison. Yeah. She believes that Biden will remain relevant in the final sprint before the election if he focuses on reaching out to young voters in particular. It would make him more relevant. She says, yes, Trump has admittedly dominated the news cycle in recent weeks, but it's for the negative, she says. Yeah. And they talk about Pennsylvania. Maybe it can change. It was red in the last election. Maybe it can turn blue. Trump won by a small margin in 2016 with only 44,000 votes and was one of 3 states that tipped the election in favor of Republicans. Many believe that the Democrats have a chance to turn the state in their favor by 2020, and so far Biden is leading in Pennsylvania, according to opinion polls. Right. Here's another comment from a student. It's going to be tough. My area will probably vote red, unfortunately. But hopefully this year is where cities like Philadelphia, Harrisburg and Pittsburgh make a difference. But everyone must make sure they vote. Then maybe we can change Pennsylvania to blue. This is from Madison again. Yeah. And she says what she finds attractive about Joe Biden is that he is a progressive candidate, listens to minorities and women, and he fights for reproductive rights, something she thinks Trump has never cared about. Even if Biden isn't perfect, it is a start to give a voice to all those who have not had it before, she said. And then her friend Grace, 21 years old, thinks it's surreal that Joe Biden has now come to her home ground. He is someone I look up to for his steadfastness and because he has overcome so many tough adversities in his life. It's cool that he's so close, she says. Right. I am cautiously optimistic. A lot will depend on Pennsylvania, and that's why it's important that many Democrats come out and support, says Grace. She has herself been a volunteer for the Democrats. She believes that if Biden manages to keep up the steam for the next few weeks, while corona-infected Trump is stuck in isolation in the White House, it will be decisive in the election. And she ends off with this fantastic quote: Biden must capitalize on things like that the president has COVID. And he must make the American people realize that we can no longer stand the chaos. He is the one we must turn to get back on track again. Wow. And together with the pictures, it's such a pathetic article. Yeah. All right. That's all. Be good. Bye.